I went to 3 funerals last month. 3 good men, strong men, men who worked hard their whole lives, built houses, raised families, broke their backs at the mill or the office. And do you know what they all had in common? They all retired about a year ago. They finally got that gold watch, that handshake, that freedom they spent 40 years dreaming about. And it killed them. You see, we are sold a bill of goods. From the time you're 20, they tell you, work hard now so you can rest later. They show you pictures of white sandy beaches, golf courses, hammocks swinging in the breeze. They call it the golden years, but let me tell you something, and I want you to listen close because this might just save your life. The hammock is a coffin. That golf course is a waiting room for the grave. Now, before I tell you why taking it easy is the fastest way to meet your maker, do yourself a favor. Click that subscribe button right down there. Stick around with me. I've been around the block a few times, and I'm sharing the things nobody else has the guts to tell you. Join this family because we're talking about how to really live, not just how to fade away. Let's talk about the chair. You know, the one, maybe it's a big leather recliner. Maybe it's on your front porch. It looks comfortable, doesn't it? You think I earned this? You sit down, you put your feet up, you turn on the TV, and your brain, it gets a signal. It's a very subtle signal, but it's loud and clear to your biology. The signal says, mission accomplished, shut it down. Human beings aren't built for resting. Look at history. Look at your grandfather. Did he ever just stop? No, he worked until he couldn't. Maybe he slowed down. Sure, maybe he stopped lifting the heavy stuff, but he kept moving. He kept fixing things. He kept tending the garden. He had a purpose. And when you take away the purpose, when you take away the struggle, the body thinks it's time to check out. I remember my buddy, let's call him Jim. Jim was a high-powered guy, stressful job. He used to complain every day, I can't wait to quit. I'm going to buy a boat and just fish. Well, Jim bought that boat. He fished every day for 3 months. I saw him at the grocery store about 6 months in. He looked 10 years older. The spark was gone. He told me, I'm bored. But it wasn't just boredom. It was decay. His mind didn't have a problem to solve anymore. His body didn't have a reason to get up at 6 a.m. And 6 months later, Jim was gone. Heart failure, they said. But I know what it really was. It was a lack of fight. You see, comfort is a slow poison. We crave it. We love it. But too much of it makes us soft. And in this world, soft things get eaten. Soft things rot. When you retire to a life of pure leisure, you are telling your body that you are done contributing. You are telling the tribe that you are no longer necessary. And nature has a very cruel way of dealing with things that are no longer necessary. Think about a machine. You park a classic car in a garage and leave it there for 10 years. You don't drive it. You don't turn the engine over. You just let it sit. Is it in perfect condition when you come back? No, the seals dry out. The battery dies. The tires rot flat. The rust sets in. That car breaks down, not because you drove it too hard, but because you didn't drive it at all. You are that car. Your job, your work, your daily grind. That was the oil moving through the engine. It was the heat that kept the seals fresh. And it's not just your body. It's your mind. When you're working, even if you hate your boss, you're solving problems. You're dealing with people. You're navigating traffic. You're remembering schedules. Your brain is firing. When you stop, when every day is just Tuesday, when there is no deadline, your brain starts to prune itself. It starts to cut connections it thinks you don't need anymore. It's use it or lose it on a terrifying scale. Do you know the most dangerous day of your life? It isn't the day you get a bad diagnosis. It isn't the day you fall off a ladder. It is the day you wake up and look at the clock and realize you have absolutely nowhere to be. The silence in a retired man's house at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. That silence is loud. It screams at you. It tells you that the world is spinning just fine without you. And for a man who spent 40 years pushing the world forward, that feeling is deadly. Now, before we get into the dark side of that silence, I want you to do one thing for me. Look down at that subscribe button. It's right there. If you want to be the guy who stays sharp, who stays dangerous, and who stays alive while everyone else is fading away, click it, join us. We aren't going gently into that good night. We are going to fight. Let's talk about the phone. When you were working, maybe you hated the phone ringing, customers complaining, the boss checking in, the problems that needed fixing, you wanted it to stop. Well, be careful what you wish for, because when you retire, the phone stops ringing, and at first it feels like peace, but after a few weeks, it feels like isolation. You see, we don't realize how much of our social life is tied to the job. You have work buddies, you have people you argue with, people you joke with, people you suffer with. You have a tribe. When you walk out that door for the last time with your cardboard box, you aren't just leaving a building, you are leaving your tribe. You go home to your wife, God bless her, but she has her own routine. She's been running the house for 30 years. Suddenly, you're there all day, messing up her system. You're underfoot. You went from being the captain of the ship to being a nuisance in the kitchen. And then comes the loss of the title. This is the part that breaks a man's spirit. For 40 years, you were the foreman. You were the head salesman. You were the guy who fixes the HVAC. That was who you were. It gave you respect. It gave you authority. People listened to you. When you retire, who are you? You just Bob. You're just the old guy walking his dog. You lose your rank. And for a man, losing rank is a heavy blow. It hits you right in the gut. I've seen men try to fill that hole with hobbies. They say, I'm going to build birdhouses. That's fine. Birdhouses are nice. But deep down, the birds don't need you. The birds don't care if the roof is square. There is no stakes. There is no pressure. And believe it or not, human beings need pressure. We need a load to carry. Without a load on your back, your spiritual muscles atrophy. You get weak. Think about the endless Saturday. We all love Saturdays because we worked all week. And Saturday is the reward. It tastes sweet because the work was hard. But if every single day is Saturday, Tuesday is Saturday, Friday is Saturday, Sunday is Saturday. The sweetness turns sour. You start to lose track of time. You forget what day it is. And when you forget time, you start to drift. And drifting is the first step toward dying. The brain needs friction. It needs to rub against the world. It needs to solve problems that actually matter. When the biggest problem in your day is what to eat for lunch or what show to watch on Netflix, your brain starts to shut down the power plants. It says, we don't need all this energy anymore. You start forgetting names. You start losing words. You start repeating stories. You are tired because you did too much. You're tired because you did too little. In the next part, I'm going to tell you about the physical cost. I'm going to tell you why sitting down is worse than smoking and why your heart actually changes shape when you stop pushing it. But remember this, the moment you stop being useful, you start dying. Don't let the world tell you you're done. You're only done when you say you're done. Put your hand on your chest for a second, right over your heart. Feel that thump, 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 thump. That is the engine of your life. It beats 100,000 times a day. It doesn't take a vacation. It doesn't get a weekend off. But here is the scary truth. That engine is smart, too smart. It only gives you exactly what you ask for, and if you stop asking for power, it stops giving it. Now, before I tell you how to keep that engine from shrinking, and yes, I said shrinking, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button. It's free, it's easy, and it tells me you're ready to hear the truth that the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know. Let's keep you running strong. So let's talk about the biology of taking it easy. When you work, even if you're just walking around a job site or carrying groceries up the stairs, you are sending a demand to your heart. You are saying, I need blood. I need oxygen. Move it. Your heart responds. It stays thick. It stays strong. It pushes. But when you retire to the couch, when your biggest exertion is walking to the mailbox, your heart gets the memo. It says, oh, we're slowing down. Okay, I don't need to be this big anymore. I don't need to be this strong. And it literally starts to get smaller. Doctors call it atrophy. I call it withering on the vine. You aren't saving your heart by resting it. You are starving it. And it's not just a heart. Think about a river. A fast-moving river is clean. The water is clear. It's full of life. Now think about a stagnant pond. The water doesn't move. What happens? It gets murky. Algae grows. Scum forms on the top. Mosquitoes breed. It becomes a swamp. Your blood vessels are that river. When you move, when you work, when you have purpose, your blood flows fast. It scrubs the walls of your arteries. It keeps things clean. When you sit down for 30 years of retirement, you become the swamp. The flow slows down. And the plaque starts to stick to the walls because there's no current to wash it away. You are literally clogging up your own pipes by not using them. I see guys who treat their bodies like fragile antiques. They say, oh, I can't lift that. I'm retired. I can't dig that hole. I have a bad back. Listen, pain is a signal. Sure, but avoiding all effort is a death sentence. Your bones are alive. They react to pressure. If you don't put weight on them, if you don't carry things, your bones think they aren't needed. They get brittle. They get like chalk. Then one day you trip on a rug and snap. A hip breaks. And for a man our age, a broken hip is often the beginning of the end. And let's not forget the gut, the retirement spread. You stop moving, but you don't stop eating. In fact, you eat more because you're bored. You're snacking while watching the news. That weight settles right around your middle. That fat isn't just sitting there, it's active. It releases chemicals that inflame your body. It fights against you. You were built to be a beast of burden. Look at the old farmers. You ever shake hands with a majestic 80-year-old farmer? His hand feels like a piece of oak wood. He's still throwing hay bales. He's still fixing fences. He didn't retire. He just kept farming. And he will outlive the guy who moved to the golf condo by 10 years. Easy. Why? Because his body knows it is still required for the mission. We treat comfort like a prize. We think, I worked hard, I deserve to be soft. No, you deserve to be strong. Until the day they put you in the ground, you deserve to die with your boots on, not in a recliner, with a remote in your hand. In the next part, I'm going to talk about the mind. Because if you think your body falls apart fast, wait until I tell you what happens to your brain when you stop solving problems. It's terrifying, but you need to hear it. Stick with me. You ever walk into a room and forget why you went in there? You stand in the kitchen, staring at the fridge, and your mind is just blank. It happens to all of us. But when you retire, that blank starts to happen more often. It starts to last longer. And one day you look in the mirror and you realize the sharp, quick-witted person you used to be is getting foggy. The fog is rolling in. Now, before we talk about how to clear that fog and keep your mind like a steel trap, go ahead and click that subscribe button. We are building a community of men and women who refuse to let the rust set in. If you want to stay sharp until your very last breath, you are in the right place. Join us. Let's talk about your noggin, your brain. People think the brain is like a computer. You fill it with files and it just stores them. That's wrong. Your brain is a muscle, just like your biceps. If you put your arm in a sling for 6 months, what happens? The muscle shrinks. It turns to jelly. You can't lift a milk jug. Well, when you retire, you are putting your brain in a sling. Think about it. When you were working, you were solving problems all day. You had to remember names, schedules, inventory routes. You had to deal with difficult people. You had to learn new software. You had to think. Your brain was lifting heavy weights every single day. Then you quit. You go home. You watch the news. You do a crossword puzzle. Folks, I hate to break it to you, but a crossword puzzle is not a workout. It's a warm-up. It's lifting a 2-pound pink dumbbell. It's not enough. Your brain craves novelty. It craves struggle. It needs to learn things it doesn't know. I see so many guys retire and they glue themselves to the TV. They watch 8 hours of news, sports, old movies. They think they are keeping up with the world. You aren't. Passive entertainment is poison for the aging mind. When you watch TV, your brain goes into standby mode. It's just receiving. It's not creating. It's not solving. It's like feeding your body pure sugar. It feels good for a second, but it rots you from the inside out. And here's the scariest part. When your brain realizes you aren't using those complex pathways anymore, the ones for negotiation, for strategy, for learning, it literally cuts the wires. It prunes them. It says, we don't need this road anymore. Let nature take it back. That's when the decline sets in fast. That's when you become the old man in the corner who just nods and smiles because he can't follow the conversation. Do you want to be that guy? The guy who tells the same story 5 times in 1 hour. The guy who can figure out the remote control. I didn't think so. The people who stay sharp. I mean, the 90-year-olds who are writing books, running businesses, fixing cars. They never stopped giving their brains a hard time. They learned a new language at 70. What? They started a business at 75. They took up an instrument at 80. They forced their brains to build new roads. They didn't settle for the old ones. Comfort is the enemy of intelligence. If you are comfortable, you aren't learning. If you know exactly how your day is going to go, your brain is asleep at the wheel. You need surprises. You need challenges. You need to be a little bit confused and frustrated. Sometimes frustration is just your brain growing. So we've talked about the body, the heart, and the mind. We know the trap. We know why the dream retirement is a nightmare in disguise. So what do? Do we just work at the factory until we drop dead? No. There is a third way. There is a way to leave the job but keep the life. In the final part, I'm going to give you the blueprint. I'm going to tell you exactly how to structure your life so you never, ever retire from living. Stick around, because this is the answer you've been waiting for. You made it to the end because deep down, I'm right. You feel it in your bones. You know that sitting still feels like giving up, and you aren't ready to give up. So before I give you the final secret, the key to living strong until the very end, do one last thing for me. Click that subscribe button. Join this brotherhood. We are rewriting the rules of aging, and I want you on the front lines with us. So what is the answer? If sitting on the beach kills you, but you hate your boss, what do? Do you work until you drop at a job you despise? No, that's slavery. The answer is simple. You don't retire from something. You retire to something. You need a mission, not a hobby. A mission. A hobby is something you do when you have extra time. A mission is something that demands your time. A mission has stakes. A mission matters. Maybe your mission is fixing up every broken bicycle in the neighborhood and giving them to kids who need them. That's real work. That requires skill. That helps the tribe. Maybe your mission is growing the best tomatoes in the county and selling them at the market. That's a business that requires strategy. Maybe your mission is mentoring young men who don't have fathers. That is the highest calling there is. You see the difference? In all those examples, you are useful. You are needed. If you don't show up, something goes wrong. That is the magic. You need to be needed. The Japanese have a word for it. They call it ikigai. It means the reason you get out of bed in the morning. If your reason is to pee and get coffee, you are in trouble. If your reason is because the garden needs watering, or because the boys are waiting for me at the shop, you are going to live a long time. You have 40, 50 years of experience in your head. You have skills. You have wisdom. You know how to fix things, how to talk to people, how to solve problems. To take all that value and lock it inside a retirement home is a crime. It's a waste. The world needs what you have. Don't let the old man in. The old man isn't a number. The old man is a mindset. The old man says, I'm done. The old man says, it's too late. The old man says, let the young kids handle it. Kick that guy out of your house. You are not done until you are dead. And even then, your work should speak for you. So here is my challenge to you. Throw away the brochure with the cruise ship on it. Stop looking at golf carts. Look at your community. Look at your family. Look at the world. Find a problem that makes you angry. Find a broken thing that needs fixing and go fix it. Get your hands dirty. Get your heart rate up. Get frustrated. Get tired. Good, honest, hard-earned tired. When the Grim Reaper finally comes for you, make him catch you while you're working. Make him drag you away from something important. Don't let him find you asleep in the recliner. Live with purpose. Die empty. Use every bit of potential you have before you go. Thanks for listening. Now get up. You've got work to do.